Let's look at a more complicated form and the way that it rearranges S expressions. So the case form evaluates this expression to get a number, finds the clause with the matching number, and then evaluates the expression corresponding to that clause. So for example, if I do case plus 1, 2 with options 3, 4, and else, then we should take the 3 branch here and return 3 as the answer. And of course, the way this is going to be implemented is by using if 0 to check, and then we're comparing to 0, so let's just imagine that we have minus for now. We can take the result of plus 1, 2, subtract 3 from it. If that's 0, then we want that expression there, 3, and so on. Now, you can write a function that deals with any number of cases like this, but it turns out there's an easier way to think about the problem, which is to just deal with one case at a time. Case has any number of cases, 0 or more, so if there's at least one of them, just deal with the first case. Evaluate the expression, compare that expression to the number, and then use the result if so. If not, then use another case form to deal with all the other cases. And in the same way that parse takes the result of an S expression transformation and just tries it again, then when we try again later, we'll see this case and it'll expand and so on. So we only have to deal with one kind of pattern at a time. And in that pattern, we just have 4 pieces to work with. We have the expression, we have the number we're trying to match for that first case, we have the right-hand side, and we have the rest of them. And we rearrange those into these other pieces. So these 4 colored boxes here, those are going to correspond to unquotes in the S expression that we're constructing. And then we can expand out the unquotes if we want to. Actually, that's not the only thing we have to deal with. We also have to deal with the possibility that there are 0 cases, 0 clauses before else. And in that case, then we just have 2 pieces to rearrange into a simple little expression here. We let some dummy variable just to make sure that that x gets evaluated, and then return the else clause's result. So if we turn that into a function, it looks like this. Here we have a case x else, and so the way that the implementation of the case transformer works is it first checks is the first clause starting with else? And if so, we just assume it's the only clause. And in that case, we only have a couple of pieces to rearrange. Otherwise, we have those 4 different pieces to rearrange. And notice that we're building up a case form here that's going to use those other pieces, the big chunk at the end. In this test case, though, we only do the simple rearrangement. In this test case, that's where we do the bigger rearrangement and end up with another use of case for the results. So here again, we're not down to something as simple as curly yet, but you can imagine expanding out the back quotes and unquotes into just list operations on symbols and constant S expressions and so on, and we'll see that full expansion later in some code.